Back with Bobby and JJ Radio. We have actually a really good friend of mine. I don't know why she has not been on the radio yet. Miss Patty Monteza. She's with Keller City View. I want to say thank you for hanging out with us today.
Of course.
So Miss Patty she runs the Monteza Real Estate Group. She's been in the business for 3+ years. Bronze Award winners, capping every year. Capping meaning she just goes out and kills it and meets the what we say is kind of the minimum of the multi-million-dollar producing award. She's a chosen speaker. She goes to all these John Maxwell Mastermind events. But what I love about Patty, besides the fact that she's Peruvian and has a lot of that spice to her, is that she's actually been getting progressively better every single year. Mm-hmm. So I want to walk us through who the Monteza Group is and who you service here in San Antonio.
Monteza Real Estate Group started 7 months ago due to the fact that there's not enough of me to service all of the people that I'm getting.
For sure.
That are coming my way. I service, to be honest with you, bilingual has become a big thing lately.
Definitely.
As much as I know a lot of people, but I have a lot of Spanish people in my life that now that they see that I'm progressing, I'm being referred so much. So I service, honestly, I've lived here all my life. I service all of San Antonio.
Right.
I've learned to stick to what I know, and if it gets to farm and ranch or if it gets to something I don't know, I refer it out so that way I can do the best for that client and not cheat them of what they deserve.
Which is just the attention.
Right. They deserve the attention. They deserve somebody that knows that market. I've learned the hard way not to do farm and ranch my first year when I tried to do it.
Right.
Didn't know there was air rights and all those things.
So
mineral rights. And at the end of the day, every failure is a lesson, and it was a lesson learned for me to refer it out, and stick to what I've known my whole life, which is San Antonio.
So 7 months ago, you're an individual agent, or 8 months ago. Mm-hmm. What happened? What was the natural progression?
The reason I went in that route is because of the fact that I found myself not enjoying being so tired, working at home, doing things at home instead of enjoying my mom, my sister, my family life.
Right.
So then when I had somebody that I inspired in getting their license, when I had them asking over and over to join my team and I didn't have a team, I started thinking this is the time. I saw the hustle in that person and I decided to just jump in.
And that's Joe.
No, that was somebody else.
Oh, okay.
That person, it didn't work out, not because of anything other than you can't teach somebody certain things that they have to find on their own.
Well, you have a standard to uphold.
I have a standard. There's standards and there's goals, and the standard wasn't upheld.
For sure.
So I have Joe Alex Garcia now. He's my lead buyer agent. That's something that I would say about almost 2 months. And in the 2 months that he's been with me, he has done more than I see people do that have been in the business 6 months to a year.
Sure.
And
so I've met him. He's definitely a hustler, go-getter for sure. Yeah. So the two of you are kind of like a two-headed snake at this point. You're focusing on all the listings, which are sellers.
I'm focusing now on listings. He's focusing on the buyer side.
Sure.
In the sense of course, he eventually will do listings. It's just a matter of understanding the buyers better so you can understand the listing side better.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. I always tell new agents when they come into the industry, I said because no one explained it to me. I was almost offended when I first got into real estate because they said, you're only going to work with buyers, or you should only work with buyers. And I kind of got mad because I said, I can work with anyone. Yeah. But you have, when you're with a buyer, if you go out with them and you don't find their dream home in the first time out, it doesn't really matter. You just kind of go back to the drawing board, which is the MLS search, and you start over again. Mm-hmm. But when it's with sellers, you got one shot. Like Eminem says, it's kind of one shot to get the price that you have to explain to them the price that they should be at. Mm-hmm. You have to convince them that you're the right person to market their home.
Right.
More importantly, why don't you feel that you working with so many buyers your first couple of years, you can now walk into a home and know the floor plan and the builder and the upgrades and all that kind of stuff. It almost prepares you, because I mean, how many houses were you looking at per year, you feel like, with just working with buyers alone?
I feel, well, I guess because I'm very the type that I will pre-qualify those buyers to where I the most I ever showed one buyer was 10 houses.
Nice.
And it was
You're like Yoda. I like it.
because they would tell me what they didn't want, and when they would send me things that they told me they didn't want, I'm like, we're not going to see that. You just told me you didn't want that. And then they're like, oh my God, you're right. Okay, well then why are we going to waste your time and my time? Let's get back to what you said. So I hold them accountable to what they say.
And I like that too, because if not, they're spending 5 or 4 minutes in houses that they hate instead of spending 20 or 30 minutes in houses that are actual possibilities.
Right.
So that's kind of been your take with the buyers.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that's now the what the standard is on your team as well.
Yes, and I could say Joe Alex has known me as a friend for a long time. So hearing all the stories, he comes in and he's like, okay, so what is it that you do? Right. And now he's learning the process of what I do. But the thing is, I told him, I'm not here to tell you what you're going to do and what you're not going to do.
Sure.
I'm just here to tell you that the best way that you're going to find a way to sell the houses right is you need to understand the buyers.
Definitely.
If you understand the buyers, then you will definitely be good at selling.
So quick takeaway before I break. So let's walk me through being a buyer with the Monteza Group. What should I expect?
Well, anybody that whether they get referred or whether, however I get the buyer, I will talk to them on the phone first, and I will pre-qualify how motivated they are. Right. Once I figure out they're motivated, like within the next 30 to 60 days, okay, what time can you come in? What we're going to do is we're going to have one of our preferred lenders, you, me, and my team. We will all get together. I will let you get pre-approved. I will come back. At that point, I sign the buyer agent, the buyer representation. Right. I get the pre-approval letter. We get down. I have them fill out while they're talking to the lender, fill out what they're looking for. Sure. And then I go over that with them and I let them know from there, I'm going to be emailing you properties. Of those properties, you pick your top 5. Right.
So how important do you feel is to give them a group of lenders that you trust? How do you think how is that so important to a buyer in your opinion? Because there's so many lenders, right?
There's a lot of lenders, and I think that you brought up on Peruvian, being Peruvian, you're very picky. Mm-hmm. You're very easy to cut certain lenders, vendors, people, friends. Right. You're very easy to cut things off whenever you see it's not good. And I've already gotten to a point where communication is the biggest thing. Sure. And the lenders that I've chosen have been really good at taking care of making sure that everything runs as smooth as possible with the communication.
Yeah, so the buyers, and also whenever you need something, it's not a lender that you don't know, and you can call them up and make sure that everything closes on time. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Ms. Patty Monteza. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Be a fan of our show at bobbyandjjradio.com.